How do we lead with inspiration and purpose? It's a good question, and every leader struggles. You want your people to share your vision and enthusiasm of pursuing a common goal, and you wish them to each own that purpose so that you don't have to keep on telling them what to do. It's a question that is closely tied with the endeavor to build self-organized, autonomous teams. Instructed leadership has its limits, but it is, after all, practical. Don't we all have experiences where we try motivating and inspiring our people by sharing the vision and purpose of whatever that we want to get done, only to revert to breaking down the work into tasks and handing out instructions as the deadline approaches? The gap between ideal and reality. Ouch. But we all hear about these leaders that seem immune from micromanagement and are great at motivating people and rallying them for the collective good. Do they even exist? Are they even real? I know a few, and I like to claim as a coach, I am helping many more becoming one. So what do these inspiring leaders do differently? Intuitively or through learning, these leaders have a sense of what motivates people, and perhaps even more importantly, what not. What demotivates people. In this video, I'd like to share some insights from motivational psychology and a few pointers on what it means to lead with inspiration and purpose, particularly the do's and do not. Okay then, briefly on motivation. Let's use Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The bottom two layers are survival and safety needs, food, shelter, health needs, and personal, emotional, and financial security needs, including job security. Then comes the strong needs for belonging and esteem. After all, we are social beings. Interestingly, our biology has evolved accordingly. We have 4 major hormones and neurotransmitters that affect our moods and emotions. Among them, endorphins and dopamine are closely tied with our first 2 layers of basic needs, survival and security. Dopamine drives us to find food and other bodily pleasures, and endorphin helps us handle hardship, which ultimately keeps us safe, like not feeling pain in your burning leg muscles when running away from a chasing lion. And then we have oxytocin and serotonin. Oxytocin, known as the love hormone, gives us a lasting feeling of calm and safety when being with people we feel we can trust. It is directly associated with our need for belonging. Serotonin is known as a leadership chemical. When you feel a sense of pride, it's serotonin's doing. It is a neurotransmitter or a messenger chemical that regulates the many social functions in us. It boosts our self-confidence and hooks us onto serving others through a complex reward system of feeling joy from gaining attention, respect, and recognition. And then we have the higher order needs that sit on top of these first 4 layers. Among those who are generally satisfied and less distracted with these basic and mid-level of needs, some develop an emerging need to realize their full potential and a craving to become the best version of themselves. Maslow called this state of need self-actualization. It's about personal mastery and pursuing audacious goals. It's that feeling of pushing the envelope, raising the bar. Now, thanks to the ubiquitous pyramid visual, a common misconception is that Maslow's hierarchy of needs ends with self-actualization at the top. In his later years, Maslow came to realize that we have a need for self-transcendence beyond self-actualization. In the realm of altruism and spirituality, self-transcendence is a state where we are motivated to do good for a higher order beyond ourselves. I find meaning in what I do, and while I can't really grasp what it is, I feel I contribute to the greater good of humanity, and therefore, I pursue my path. I believe it's this kind of motivation that Maslow suggests as self-transcendence. Again, basic survival needs, safety and security, sense of belonging, self-esteem and recognition from others, self-actualization, and self-transcendence. This is what gets us going, what motivates us. Okay, Now let's switch gears. Why is it so important for us to be aware of all of this? Combine motivational theory with two more important psychological phenomena called cognitive dissonance and the concept of agency, and it will start to all make sense. When you see, hear, or are communicating something that goes against your values, beliefs, and feelings, we feel uncomfortable, tense, and stressed, right? That squeamish feeling, that's cognitive dissonance. Meanwhile, the concept of agency is a little bit confusing because in commercial terms, an agent is someone that provides a service on behalf of someone else. But in this case, in social science and psychology terms, agency is the capacity of individuals to act independently and to make their own free choices. So it's about us, our own agency. We would never want to give up control over our own choices and actions, right? That's agency. So when our agency is violated, cognitive dissonance occurs. When somebody comes up and orders a task against our liking, or worse, against our own will, we loathe and resist. Put it simply, we only want to do what is congruent with our feelings. But in life, when we work together, we need to share the burden of challenges, right? If we allow people to refuse work they don't want to do, who's going to do the hard labor? This is where understanding motivational theory comes into the picture. Beyond our basic survival and safety needs, we are socially motivated, and we have a natural desire to help each other. We find joy in sharing the weight of work if we know our contribution is going to be appreciated. We find joy in taking up difficult work and becoming a trailblazer so that others can follow. Now, back to leading with inspiration and purpose, the do's and do nots. The Oxford Dictionary definition of inspiration is a process of being mentally stimulated to do or feel something, especially to do something creative. As a leader, you want your team members to buy into your vision, and you want them to get excited and enthusiastic about working together towards a common goal. Not just because you ask them to, but because you want they themselves find purpose and mission in doing so. Nothing wrong with a genuine desire like this, so long as it's in good intent. So, let's make it happen. Now that you know motivation theory, cognitive dissonance, and agency, you understand that first, you cannot make people do anything that will threaten their basic survival and safety needs. So of course, no slave work, and everyone needs to be treated fair and humane. No more, just do it, because I tell you so. Okay? Next, you'd want to use every opportunity interacting with your team members to let them know your appreciation for them as a valuable member of the team. If the only time that you properly speak with your team members is when you have something you want them to do, that's a transactional relationship. Will your team members feel a strong sense of belonging to the team? Not as strong as you invest your time and effort in building rapport regularly. If you're already familiar with Aristotle's influence model that I favor, this is the ethos stage. It's like equity. Presence, credibility, gravitas of a good leader isn't built overnight. It's a long process of accumulation and accrual. So play the long game and build relationships with your people every day. Time to sell your story to the team, stakeholders, and partners? Again, go slow. Will hard selling your pitch with facts, figures, and logic, that is just with logos, cement the deal? Maybe, but most likely not. Again, remember cognitive dissonance and agency. It's your story, not theirs. And the more aggressive you sell it to them, their guard goes up. You're violating your audience's agency. Instead, listen, empathize. That is, use ethos. Ask questions. Have genuine curiosity. With your whole self, try to understand your people, their wants, their needs. What motivates them? What derails them? Have a genuine conversation where both you and whoever you are speaking to speaks at the level of aspirations. A good conversation is resonating, and you will find the right moment to share your vision, dream, and likewise there's too. That moment is Kairos. At that point, invite the person to join you on your endeavor. There's a good chance your counterpart will exclaim, "I was hoping you would do so. Count me in." Because they're already sold. There's little or no cognitive dissonance because you've invested your time in letting them understand your story at their pace and in their own language. And they themselves made the choice to follow you. They retained their agency. Sounds all good, right? But does this all work? I hope so. But at least for me, it's the only way I know how to engage and enroll people into my own endeavors as a serial entrepreneur. And so far, it's working wonders. I am blessed with so many amazing people I work together. For example, my tribal coaches at my coaching business, Agile Organization Development. They give me so much energy every day. The world needs more inspirational and purpose-driven leaders. If you are watching this video till this end, I can tell that you're already one. I hope my tips and hints today will be helpful in furthering your influence. Thanks for watching.